Cristobal should be fired today. A fireable offense. Complete incompetence by the head coach of the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. Holy smokes. And the AP Top 25 poll was just released after Week 6. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Let's first get to the AP poll Top 25. It was just released. I have not been able to take a look at it. Other teams receiving votes: Texas A&M with 5 votes, James Madison with 7, Iowa with 7, and Maryland with a tough loss against the Buckeyes. They lost by 20, but they hung in there in the first half and the early part of the third quarter. Clemson gets a win, tough win, 17 votes. West Virginia, here comes Neil Brown trying to save his job. West Virginia 4-1. They could be part of the battle for the Big 12 championship at the end of the year. Tulane, Green Wave, 27 votes. Wisconsin is rising, 41 votes. Air Force, they could be the representative for the G5 schools in the New Year's Bowl. It could happen. It could happen. Wyoming, 42 votes. Missouri with 69 votes. Let's see who's the 25th. Oh my goodness. Dropping down 8 spots, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. Man, I could not have voted for them in the 25th spot. No way, no how. I know they defeated Texas A&M earlier in the year. We're going to talk about Miami, Florida at the end of this episode 312. Mario Cristobal, a fireable offense as they lose to Georgia Tech at home. We're going to get to it in a little bit. Miami, Florida, number 25. Kentucky, number 24. Man, they got beat like a drum against the Georgia Bulldogs. I was believing that they would do a whole lot more in that game. Kansas stays at number 23. LSU moves up a spot at 22. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We're going to talk about Notre Dame here next week. Possibly tomorrow on Monday. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They look feeble on offense. Once again, Sam Hartman is not producing at Notre Dame like he did at Wake Forest. What's the issue? The offensive coordinator, Parker. The offensive line's just not as good. What is going on at Notre Dame? They drop 11 spots down to number 21. The Tennessee Volunteers, 19 at number 3. They're actually tied with Washington State, 19. They dropped down 6 spots. UCLA, who just defeated Washington State, they stay at 18. The Duke Blue Devils move up 2 spots. They're at number 17. Utah hoping, praying that Cameron Rising, the leader of the team, the quarterback, comes back at some point this year. They move up 2 spots. They're at 16. Oregon State Beavers stay at number 15th in the country. The Louisville Cardinals, first-year head coach Jeff Brom, who led the Purdue Boilermakers to the Big Ten West Division title last year, goes to his alma mater where he was a star quarterback for Louisville. Look at what they are doing. They defeated Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Louisville Cardinals, up to number 14. Holy smokes. Ole Miss moves up 3 spots. Lane Kiffin's got them at 13. North Carolina looked dominant again. Drake May, look at his game he had yesterday. Look at his game. Unbelievable efficiency. Drake May, North Carolina, they move up 2 spots. They got Tez Walker back in the fold. Their transfer wide receiver, they're up at the 12th spot. Alabama stays at 11. USC drops another spot. They are at number 10. They are where they should be now. Finally, the AP voters have got it. USC should not be higher than number 10. I would have Alabama. I would have North Carolina ahead of USC this week in the poll. Their defense, they're still having issues. They're going to have issues the rest of the season. Texas lose a close one to the Oklahoma Sooners. They dropped 6 spots. Then number 3 to number 9. Texas is back. Well, they're going to have to prove it here. They're going to have to win out to get to the Big 12 championship game. The Sooners are ahead of them. Oregon, number 8. Washington, number 7. No changes there. Washington and Oregon play each other next Saturday in a massive game. Penn State, no changes. They're at number 6. The Sooners, they move up 7 spots. Again, Dylan Gabriel was sensational. Absolutely sensational against the Texas Longhorns yesterday. The Sooners win the Red River rivalry game. They move up to number 5. I've got no complaints about that. We talked about it yesterday on our live show, our watch party show. Oklahoma could get into that number 5 spot. Well deserved. Well deserved. Number 4, the Florida State Seminoles. I've had them in the top 4 the whole season. They remain in the top 4. Again, they deserve it. Norvell doing an outstanding job. Ohio State Buckeyes had adversity again early in the game, but they met it. They defeated that adversity. They were strong. They were getting stronger as the game went on. Marvin Harrison Jr. took total control of the second half in the game against the Maryland Terrapins. The Buckeyes, number 3. The Michigan Wolverines destroyed my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers. 52-10. It could have been 72-10. Michigan could have called their own score. Jim Harbaugh has got that team rolling for the 3rd year in a row and the number 1 team in the land. The Georgia Bulldogs, the 2-time defending, reigning, undisputed national champions. Brock Bowers, got to have Georgia number 1. That's how I see it. Put down your comments in the comment section below the video. Let me know how you think the AP voters have got it wrong today, this week. I don't think they have it wrong. Although I would not have Miami of Florida at number 25. I'm sorry. We're going to get to that story right now. I would not have Miami at 25. I would have USC at number 12 instead of number 10. Or possibly number 13 instead of number 10. But everything else looks pretty good to me. Give me your thoughts once again. Now, let's get to Mario Cristobal, the head coach of the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. They were ahead. They were winning. They were up by 3 points. The clock was ticking. It was under 40 seconds. And the rule of thumb is you go into victory formation. Of course you do. It should be automatic. It's automatic for everybody. Go into victory formation just in case you have a bobble snap with the quarterback behind the center. But instead, Mario Cristobal, his team, they gave the ball to the running back and he fumbled, trying to get the extra yard, right? He has an opportunity to run the ball. He loses it. Georgia Tech gets it, and they put up 2 big, long throws, and they win the game at the end. Georgia Tech defeats the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. This is not the first time Mario Cristobal has called for a running play. He did it when he was the head coach at the end of the game when they should be going to victory formation. He did this exact same thing as the head coach of Oregon in 2018 versus Stanford. The exact same thing. Instead of that time, Stanford kicked the field goal to win the game. Unbelievable. And what makes it even worse is he couldn't even admit that he screwed it up. Look at this. Take a look at this. Mario Cristobal ripped for his post-game comments about the why team didn't kneel down and win the game. He did not take blame. Mario Cristobal did not take blame. He says the following: we talked about 2 hands on the ball. I would play the video, but the audio is a little bit hard to understand, a little bit muffled. Again, look, he gets blasted by this gentleman. Awful look not to take complete and total responsibility for a totally avoidable situation by mention of players miscue in that moment. We talked about 2 hands on the ball. Are you kidding me? Mario Cristobal, are you kidding me? Victory formation. Sarah, blaming the players for his colossal error should help recruiting. Mocking Mario Cristobal. Again, a terrible, unbelievably bad decision by a head coach, which he's done the same thing before as the head coach prior to him coming to the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. And then he triples down and he can't admit fault at the press conference after the game. That's a lack of leadership. That's a lack of character. And you're going to lose trust with your players, with your team, with your fans, with your alumni, with your NIL base. This is a fireable offense. If you haven't watched this, if you haven't watched the last minute of that Miami, Florida, Georgia Tech game, give it a watch. I can't do it here, but give it a watch. Victory formation, kneel down. Miami wins the game. They are 5-0. Instead, they hand it off to the running back, and he loses the ball. Georgia Tech scores, wins the game. This is a fireable offense. Now, he's not going to get fired. Miami, Florida is not going to fire him after this game. But man, this is the start, once again, of the slip and slide, the slippage of the Miami, Florida Hurricane football program. Am I overreacting? Do you really think I'm overreacting? Let me know in the comments section below the video. But man, this is the type of thing. Not just the inability to call the obvious victory formation, kneel down, win the game. It's not being able to take accountability, not being able to take responsibility at the end of the game. The head coach, that is a large part of your job. To set an example to the rest of your team, to the rest of the football program. Take accountability, take responsibility. You failed once again, Mario Cristobal. You should be hitting the bricks. You should lose your job. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.